Welcome. This is Module 2 of the Minimal Impact Design Standards Calculator, setting up your project site. If you'd like to see the other modules, you can go to this link in Minnesota Stormwater Manual, or you can copy and paste this link into your browser, and it will take you to a location in the manual where you can see all of the modules for the Minimal Impact Design Standards Calculator. In this module, we're going to create a file, and then we'll take a look at the Site Information tab, and that's where you set your site up. There are required inputs on this tab. We'll talk about the retention requirement. There are some default values that can be changed. We'll talk about land cover, and then there's some general information that you can put into your site information. We'll briefly then go to the Schematic tab. We're not going to do any actual calculations in this particular module. So we'll escape out of here and go to the Minimal Impact Design Standards and MIDS Calculator icon, which you should, if you participated in Module 1, should now be visible on your desktop. We're going to maximize it so we get rid of that backdrop. And we're going to create a new file. And we're going to call this one Module 2. So it saves it and should open up fairly quickly because I don't have any information in here yet. So here's your Site Information tab. And you'll see there's 3 tabs: Site Information, Schematics, and Results. We're going to focus on this one because Site Information tab, because this is where you build your site. Again, remembering the MIDS calculator was designed as a site tool, designed to evaluate your site and whether you're conforming with the performance goals that you have. There are some mandatory inputs on this screen, 3 of them in fact. First, you have to answer this question: are you using the calculator to determine compliance with a construction stormwater permit? You have to answer this question, either yes or no. We're going to say no for now. Another input that is required is to input the zip code. This information is needed so that we can populate the rainfall field here. The rainfall is associated with the zip code. The other input that's required is you must have some impervious surface. If you don't have impervious surface, then you don't need the calculator. So we're just going to put in 1 acre for now. This retention requirement is set at a default of 1.1 inches. That's the MIDS performance goal. You can change this value if you'd like. For example, if you want to determine compliance with the construction stormwater permit, you would change it to 1 inch off of impervious surface. You can see that when you do that, it will tell you that this value has been changed from the recommended value of 1.1 inches. It doesn't change the functionality of the calculator. You're just changing the default that you're trying to comply with. Other defaults that are in here are the phosphorus concentration, or the phosphorus event mean concentration, at 0.3 milligrams per liter, and it's also spent solids event mean concentration, which is at 54.5 milligrams per liter. Again, if you have site information that indicates these values are not correct, you can change these. For example, you can input a value of 0.5 milligrams per liter. You'll get the same warning that this value has been changed from the recommended value of 0.3. So we'll go back and the same warning would show up here if you did that for the GSS. We'll go back and put in the default values for now. The next thing you want to input is your information about land use. As I mentioned, you have to have some impervious surface. We have 1 acre here, and you may have some acreage from pervious surfaces contributing to that. For example, you might have 1 acre of forested land off of B soils contributing to this 1 acre of impervious surface, or to your BMP that you'll eventually input. And you may have 1 acre of managed turf on a seesaw. So whatever acreages, pervious acreages you have, you'll want to put those in here. Finally, on this tab, you can put some general information up here. This is not required, but you may want to give it a project name. Let's just call it Module 2 for now. You may want to put your name or a company name in here, the date that you're working on this, and a project description. Again, all of these are optional. I'm not going to fill those in right now, but you can. If you have multiple files that you're working with, it might be one way of helping you differentiate between those files. So we'll go to the schematic tab very briefly. And this is where the BMPs show up. And you'll see on the left here now it's been populated by that land cover information that we had in the first tab, Site Information tab. We have 1 acre of impervious, 2 acres of pervious, and our performance goal is calculated from that data. We haven't input any BMPs yet, so we haven't achieved any progress towards meeting our compliance goals or performance goals. So we're going to end this module with that. We will get into these BMPs, each one of them in a separate module in later modules. Again, if you go back to the links shown here, it will show you all of those modules, including the BMPs that we're going to talk about in later modules. So that ends this module, setting up your project site.